In today's video dive, we unravel the heartfelt journey of Jamie and Maggie, a duo whose casual fling evolves into a profound bond, challenging their views on life, love, and resilience. As Jamie, a charismatic pharmaceutical rep, navigates the competitive world of drug sales, he stumbles upon Maggie, battling Parkinson's with spirit and grit. Their story isn't just a love tale. It's an exploration of the pharmaceutical landscape and the trials of living with chronic illness. Join us as we dissect this narrative of ambition, ethics, and the indomitable power of love that seeks to answer. Can love truly conquer all? Hit play for a roller coaster of emotions, insights, and the transformative journey of Jamie's leap from sales to medicine. All in the name of love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Oh man, you've got to hear about Jamie Randall. This guy, total charmer, works in an appliance store, right? And he's like the king of sales. Customers, they love him. But Jamie, he's not just about selling fridges and toasters. He's got this thing with his colleague, Christy. They're flirting non-stop, even though Christy's boyfriend, Jerry, is totally not cool with it. So, picture this. Jamie and Christy sneak off for a little fun in the warehouse during a break. Super risky, right? But then, boom. Christy's phone calls Jerry by accident. Jerry bursts in, catches them in the act, and goes ballistic. Jamie, poor guy, ends up getting the boot, not just from Christy, but literally from his job when Jerry, fuming, gets him kicked out. But get this, as he's leaving, Jamie spots another stunner, Amber, and slips her his card like the smooth operator he is. Wants to keep the party rolling after work. Classic Jamie, right? Always bouncing back. So, after the whole warehouse drama, Jamie ends up at a family dinner, which, to be honest, sounds like a total snooze fest. They're all talking shop, profits, blah blah, and Jamie's just not into it. Then out of nowhere, his brother Josh gets a shout out for landing a sweet job. And Jamie? Well, he's kinda left hanging when Josh's girlfriend asks about what he does. His mom jumps in, all proud about Jamie being tech savvy, but then Josh, that little snitch, spills the beans about Jamie getting fired. Classic sibling move, right? But Jamie's cool about it. Just brushes it off saying he's still figuring things out. Then Josh, playing the big bro card, suggests Jamie should dive into pharmaceuticals, hinting there's good money in it. Suddenly, the dinner convo shifts to medicine sales, and you can tell, it's got Jamie thinking. After dinner, chilling on the porch, Jamie gets a call from yet another lady friend. Yeah, the guy's phone is basically a hotline. Josh jokes about how Jamie would be rolling in dough if he got paid for his, let's say, social engagements. Taking the hint, Jamie decides to give the whole pharma thing a shot. He signs up for this Pfizer training program, where they're preaching about the big bucks in selling meds. Jamie's all in, practicing his pitch day and night, really getting into it. And guess what? His hoostel catches the eye of the program director. She's pretty impressed with his drive, and they start getting chummy. Looks like Jamie's finding his groove again, but in the most unexpected place. Alright, so after Jamie nails the training, he's off to Ohio for his big debut in the pharmaceutical world. He's teamed up with this local manager, Bruce Jackson, who's all about making that cash. Imagine this. It's chucking it down with rain, and there's Jamie, trying to hustle his way through the hospital corridors, attempting to chat up doctors who couldn't care less. Not exactly a warm welcome, huh? So, Jamie and Bruce, drenched and a bit deflated, decide to grab a coffee. That's when Jamie spots this blonde bombshell. Classic Jamie, even in the middle of a work crisis, he's got an eye for the ladies. He shares his foolproof flirting strategy with Bruce, who, in turn, dishes out some sales wisdom. It's like they're swapping notes on two very different subjects. As they're sipping their coffee, they notice this dude, Trey Hannigan, strutting into the doctor's office like he owns the place. Meanwhile, Jamie and Bruce are just sitting ducks in the waiting room. Not ones to be outdone, they head to another hospital where Jamie works his magic on the receptionist. And guess what? His charm pays off. She lets him set up his medication samples right where everyone can see them. Jamie's got that charm turned up to 11, proving he can sell just about anything, to anyone, anywhere. So, Jamie's out there doing his grocery run, right? And who does he bump into but a doctor from the clinic? Let's just say the doc wasn't exactly thrilled to see a Pfizer rep in his territory. Quick on his feet, Jamie pulls a Houdini with the competitor's meds, stashing them away just as Cindy, the clinic's gatekeeper, shows him the door. Meanwhile, outside, There's this homeless guy eyeing Jamie as he ditches those competitor meds in the bin. Talk about waste management, huh? But Jamie, being Jamie, isn't one to give up easy. The next day, he's back at the clinic, all charm and smiles, bearing flowers for Cindy and her sidekick. And wouldn't you know it, his charm offensive starts breaking down walls, especially with Cindy. He even crafts this whole strategy to sneak Pfizer's drugs into the clinic's supply. Smooth, right? Then, in the elevator, Jamie runs into Lisa, the blonde bombshell, again. She basically tells him he's not in her league. Ouch. Over lunch, Bruce, ever the mentor, isn't thrilled with Jamie's newbie status and nudges him towards Stan Knight, Trey's buddy, for some insider help. Jamie, not one to shy away from a challenge, manages to sweet-talk Stan into letting him shadow him at the clinic. Just like that, Jamie's in, learning the ropes and, let's be honest, probably plotting his next move. Now, here's where things get spicy. Jamie's in the waiting room, doing his Pfizer rep thing, when he meets Maggie. She's there, all stressed because someone swiped her meds. And what does our guy do? Seizes the moment to plug a drug from his company right as Stan's scribbling her a new script. But that's not all. Maggie's got more on her plate, like early Parkinson's and this weird pimple she's worried about. Jamie, ever the curious one, can't help but peek. Fast forward to the parking lot. Jamie's loading up his car when Maggie sneaks up on him, ready to give him a piece of her mind for eyeing her medical woes. Jamie, in a classic Jamie move, tries to smooth things over with a coffee invite. But Maggie? She's having none of it, snaps a pic of him and bails. Later, Jamie's on the phone with Cindy, talking up some club plans, when suddenly, family drama hits. His brother Josh is in hot water with his wife for some, questionable movie choices. Once the dust settles, Jamie, undeterred, dials up Maggie hoping for a date. They meet at the cafe where she works, and boom, Maggie drops the bomb. She's into Jamie and suggests they keep it casual. So there you have it, Jamie. From pharmaceutical sales to potential fling with Maggie. All while navigating family squabbles and the competitive world of drug sales. Never a dull moment with this guy, right? So, Jamie and Maggie, they're really hitting it off, taking getting to know each other to a whole new level. They're literally everywhere. Alleys, cafes, you name it, turning the city into their personal playground. One night, Maggie decides to up the ante with a surprise that even gets Jamie's brother's nod of approval. Amidst their, let's call it, athletic endeavors, Jamie opens up about his past, sharing pieces of himself. But here's where it gets interesting. The next morning, Jamie's doing his usual dumpster dive when Trey Hannigan, of all people, gives him a bit of a reality check about tossing meds and mingling too close with Maggie. Right on cue, a homeless dude pops up, looking for some of those discarded samples. Back at the clinic, things are turning sour fast. The staff, especially Cindy, are giving Jamie the cold shoulder after catching wind of his thing with Maggie. Despite that, Jamie's undeterred, bringing Maggie along for a visit, which only stirs more drama. Maggie's feeling the pressure, worried about where things are heading and pushing Jamie towards other distractions. In a twist, instead of soothing Jamie's worries, Maggie ends up massaging her own stress away, pondering over Jamie's ex-talk, which apparently did no favors for his market value. Yet, the night wasn't a total bust. It turns out to be quite the evening, with Maggie spilling the beans about Jamie's company's latest RPR pill to a friend, while Jamie, ever the showman, introduces some new workouts. They end the night together, a sign that, despite the day's roller coaster, there's something real brewing between them. The next morning unfolds with Jamie heading to work, and there's this moment where Maggie tries to open a biscuit. But then, her illness flares up, and things get real heavy. Real fast. She tells Jamie to stop calling her, leaving things on a pretty tense note. Cut to the evening, and Jamie's in the car with Bruce and his brother Josh. Bruce is on Jamie's case for not hitting his sales targets, while Josh is dealing with some marital drama. Amidst all this, Jamie's curious about this new pill his company's pushing. But Bruce is skeptical, questioning why he'd trust Jamie with such a big responsibility. Then, things get interesting at the bar. They run into Trey and Dr. Knight, and when Jamie tries to make nice, the topic shifts to Maggie, triggering Trey into a fit of rage. After Trey storms off, Jamie, ever the social butterfly, suggests they introduce Stan to some ladies at the bar. But Jamie can't shake off his feelings for Maggie. Despite her wanting space, he's just not having it. Josh teases him about it, but Jamie's mind is made up. He learns Maggie's planning a trip to Canada with some seniors, and he's like a moth to a flame. He stakes out her house, waiting all night, just to catch a moment with her as she gets off the bus in the morning. And guess what? Maggie's actually moved by Jamie's dedication. Talk about a grand gesture. Back at Maggie's place, Jamie's on fire, grilling like he's Gordon Ramsay or something. Meanwhile, Bruce rocks up with a fresh batch of those new pills Jamie's been all hyped about. Jamie hits the ground running, pushing these pills like they're the next big thing. And guess what? They blow up. Suddenly Jamie's the belle of the ball in every clinic across town. Now, with Jamie's stock rising, this girl, yeah, Maggie, she's all in, wanting to celebrate his wins. They decide to get a bit creative, documenting their victory lap with a video camera. Things get pretty playful, and it hits them both. This thing between them, it's getting deep. They're inseparable, soaking up every moment together. One evening, Jamie's on the phone with his mom, bragging about this mega sale he made. Maggie calls him out for laying it on thick, but then she flips the script, asking Jamie to share some of his good qualities. Jamie's stumped, but Maggie? She's got his back, painting him in the best light. Jamie's kind of floored by her perspective of him. Fast forward to a night out at the bar, and Jamie's spinning tales about his miracle pill. That's when the blonde from the elevator reappears, laying on the charm thick. Jamie, ever the gentleman, introduces her to Dr. Knight, but then dips out to return to Maggie. When he leans in for a kiss, Maggie feels his heart racing. She's worried, but Jamie's got a confession. His racing heart? It's all because he's head over heels for her, a first for him. When Jamie gets home, he's greeted by a rather unexpected sight. His brother, engrossed in needlework, of all things. And there, playing on the TV, is a home video of Jamie and Maggie in happier times. Jamie can't help but lecture his brother on the privacy breach. Meanwhile, Maggie's health is on a downswing. She's struggling just to open a jar of meds, which, to make matters worse, have run out. In the midst of this, Dr. Knight drops an invite for a medical conference in Chicago, hoping Jamie can schmooze and swap out Trey's meds for their companies. But Jamie's got bigger fish to fry when he discovers Maggie's been substituting her meds with alcohol, her health spiraling. Despite her state, they head to Chicago together, where Maggie finds her own circle at an anti-conference, connecting with folks sharing her struggles. Jamie, always the salesman, mingles with the medical elite, until Maggie pulls him into the real heart of the event. There, Jamie's world gets rocked by a fellow attendee's advice. Find someone without health issues. This guy shares his own story of love and loss with a partner battling Parkinson's, leaving Jamie to reflect on the complexities of love, health, and commitment. Riding high from the anti-conference, Maggie's in a whirlwind of emotions, dropping the L-bomb on Jamie. Inspired, Jamie dives headfirst into research, hunting for any and all treatments that could make Maggie's life easier. He even chats up Dr. Nate for the best course of action, all in the name of love. But here's the twist. Maggie feels like Jamie's too wrapped up in her condition, and she calls it quits. Heartbreaking, right? Jamie's not one to give up without a fight, though. He tries to sway her, packing his car, ready to do whatever it takes. But Maggie's mind is made up, leaving them both in a sea of what-ifs and could-have-beens. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, Jamie gets a call from Stan, who's got a rather odd request involving a pajama party hosted by Lisa. Yeah, you heard that right. Jamie's heart isn't really in it, but his brother nudges him into the fray. At the party, amidst an awkward blend of festivity and personal crisis, Jamie ends up getting roped into a conversation with a doctor, only for Lisa to swoop in and steer him away, introducing him to her friend. In a twist that feels straight out of left field, Jamie finds himself in a scenario with Lisa that's about to take a turn towards the, experimental. But before things get too out of hand, Lisa decides to spice things up with some intimacy pills. Meanwhile, in the other room, Josh is deep in geek mode with his new girlfriend, blissfully unaware of the chaos unfolding next door. The next morning, Jamie's feeling all sorts of weird and realizes he needs to get to a hospital, stat. Cutting his brother's nerdy date short, they rush off, with Josh thanking Jamie for being there for him through his own relationship drama. At the clinic, Jamie's dealing with more than just his physical ailment. He finds out he's been promoted, but the news lands hollowly, not bringing him the joy one would expect. In an attempt to find some normalcy, he heads to Maggie's cafe to celebrate, only to learn she thinks he's leaving town. Amid packing, a video of him and Maggie starts playing, reigniting his feelings and determination. He drops everything to chase after her, catching her just as she's about to leave with a senior group to Canada. In a heartfelt moment, Jamie lays it all out, confessing his love and pleading for a future together. And guess what? It works. The movie closes with Jamie, sticking by Maggie's side, choosing to enroll in medical school, proving he's made the right call. Love triumphs, and Jamie's future looks bright, both in his career and his personal life. What a roller coaster, right? And there you have it, folks. The whirlwind story of Jamie and Maggie in a tale that intertwines love, ambition, and the complexities of health into one roller coaster ride of emotions. Jamie, a charismatic pharmaceutical rep, finds more than he bargains for when he meets Maggie, a spirited woman battling Parkinson's. Their journey from casual flings to deep, undeniable love challenges both their views on life, love, and what it means to truly care for someone. This movie isn't just a love story, it's a narrative that delves deep into the ethics of the pharmaceutical industry, the struggles of living with a chronic illness, and the power of love to transcend the most daunting obstacles. Jamie's transition from a carefree salesman to a dedicated medical student, all in the name of love, showcases a profound transformation sparked by the power of human connection. If this recap touched your heart or made you think, why not give it a like and hit that subscribe button? Your support helps us bring more movie magic right to your screen. Now, for the question that's bound to stir some thoughts. Do you think love can truly conquer all, even when faced with life-altering challenges like Maggie's illness? How do you view Jamie's decision to change his entire career path for someone he loves? Share your thoughts, experiences, or even your own stories of love conquering adversity in the comments below. Let's get the conversation started. Remember, every like, subscribe, and comment doesn't just support the channel, it brings us all closer as a community of movie lovers and storytellers. So, don't be shy. Let your voice be heard.